Hey y'all, I'm back, honey. I'm back for us to talk more about Love Island USA. Last night's episode, we have to get into it. But before we get into it, can I just say how much I love this show? That's number one. But the second thing that I really, really like the most about it is the fact that we have cameras everywhere, right? And when people are going through their moments, they don't get to tell a cameraman, give me a break, give me a second, get the camera out of my face, and damn near mush the camera to get it out there. We don't have that. So you're stuck with us having to see everything. And I absolutely love that about this show. I wish all reality shows was able to set up the cameras and just record, right? But that's not necessarily the case, right? But that's one thing I had to highlight that I absolutely love. But let's get into some things because Huda does have a conversation with Taylor. When she talks to Taylor, she lets him know how much she loves him. I love you so much, and you know that. And it's like, Huda, like y'all be throwing that love word around a little too much for me, and the friend. But I mean, you guys are on the island, so maybe that's just what I don't know that experience, so maybe it makes sense for you guys. Okay, now of course he tells her that he loves her too and she's welcome, but he feels like on some real SHI, like you and Jeremiah need to separate from each other. Y'all don't need to be with each other. Go your separate ways. Everybody is not gonna sit up here and continue to watch you guys argue and go back and forth with each other. We just not gonna continue to put up with this cycle. I only voted for you because you did deserve another chance, but you deserve another chance with somebody else, not this man. So let us move on, right? So she says, I didn't really get to know anybody else. I didn't get a chance to get to know anyone. And I feel like I got slapped in my face. Well, I'll say this, Huda. Honestly, that's your fault because you didn't open yourself up. Yes, I understand if you guys were like locked in but not necessarily closed off. If a person is not trying to close things off with you, you have to understand that they are open to getting to know others because it's not closed off. Duh. And honestly, 2 weeks into the show would have been unfair to the both of you guys to close it off so early. Like I wouldn't agree with that. And yeah, so if you got a slap in your face, it's really on you. uh she goes on to talk about pretty much how she felt like, oh well, he's the one that's getting rewarded because he gets to be put in a coupling while I'm single. Then he gets to go on a date and still be in a coupling while I'm on the chopping block for a second time. And I just don't like that. It's like it's really unfair. So I just felt like, listen, you're failing to look inward again. Okay. um Part of the reason you were on the chopping block and everything was because of you, and not solely on him. And I'm not saying that Jeremiah is the same or he doesn't have his SHI, his stuff with him. But what I am saying is that, America made a decision. You put a lot of America's decision off on him as though it was his fault, like he made the decision. And I feel like you did that in an effort to validate your actions towards him because you were so upset with the decision America made, and he's just honoring the decision that we made, and you trying to make him the problem for that. But anywho, so she says his idea was for her to pretty much get out the house and for him to not have to deal or see her anymore. Yeah, I'm sure. Actually, that was everybody's idea until they sat up there and got fake at the end. Okay, that was everybody's idea until it was time to show and prove. So it is what it is. Taylor says this is the SHI we talking about because she goes on this whole rant talking about how, oh, he was looking at me and I was like, please get the fuck out of my face. She was like, I wanted to call him a bitch again. Olandria was like, girl, slow down, honey, because you've already done that. We don't need to be too much more of that. Okay, not up in here. Like, you're going to have to move on. And Taylor's like, yeah, we're not trying to deal with that petty shit no more. Like, girl, let that go. We don't need none of that. And she pinky swears them and says that she's done and over it. Okay, because it's emotions taking her over, caught up in sorrow, lost in a song. Okay, so she's over there stressed out like Destiny's Child. And we gonna see. It ain't gonna matter because if you ask me, she's still gonna find herself in that man's face trying to, reconnect. Okay, because that's what I feel the whole reason for her to go and have that sit down with Jeremiah that we're about to talk about in just a second is to see if there's any hope still there for them after this man just embarrassed you. Okay, the very man that you said congratulations, you're a zick to. But okay, Ace and Shelly, of course, are chatting. She's super happy to be in this coupling with him. And then she asked him about how he felt about last night. He says he is hoping, or he hoping he didn't make the wrong decision stepping behind Huda. Okay, he says really he felt like because of her actions she should not have been rewarded, but he did that because of how Jalen was showing up in the villa. So he didn't feel comfortable standing behind Jalen. And I'm just like, well, what did Jalen do? He did nothing but be in competition with your homeboy for his girl. So I didn't like how Ace worded that. I feel like he should have just said, nah, I stepped behind Huda in support of Taylor. Cause, I ain't want that boy to still be coming after my homeboy's girl. Like it's really just that simple for me. Like, that's what he should have said instead of trying to make it seem like Jalen was a problem. I didn't like that. Meanwhile, you have Jalen over there talking about, not Jalen, you have Taylor over there talking about Jalen like they were cool. Like he ain't had no issue with the guy. So what is Ace talking about? If Taylor is saying that, oh yeah, he was a cool kid or whatever the case was, I actually thought that your door may have been open for him. I wasn't sure. And it ended up being locked. Okay. And seeing that that guy's door was locked, Taylor knew for him that he was a shoo-in for Olandria. He had already known or whatever. So that's just that. He also says that the reason he stood behind Huda was because he had faith in her, right? He felt like she deserved another chance or whatever. He just don't want to see her keep doing this back and forth when it comes to Jeremiah, like he's over it. And he also lets her know that he's happy to be in a coupling with her. And she's like, oh, you missed me, I missed you. And he's like, yeah, sure did. Yeah, Taylor just not. He don't really. I don't know. The connection is interesting. I'm not really seeing it there with Olandria and Taylor, but because I really like Olandria, I just really want her to be happy ultimately. And if you win at the end, I really want you to keep all that money to yourself. But I know that the heart in you is going to make you want to share with him. But here's the gag, y'all. At the end, if they're the last couple standing, I do believe that both of them have to pull an envelope. So because they're the last two, it doesn't necessarily mean that Olandria is going to pull the money one. He may pull the money bag, right? He may grab the one with the money, and then he's going to have to make the decision on whether he's actually going to split that with her. And I will hope that he says yes and doesn't play her all the way at the end and say no. Now, I don't recall watching on USA, Love Island USA, the past few years that I've been watching. I don't recall anybody not splitting that money. Okay. Everybody has split and shared their portion of the winnings. It would be absolutely insane if somebody went throughout this entire process, had their person, and got down to the very end and made a decision that they're not going to split that money with their partner. Whew. Y'all better not pull no stunts this season. I don't think I'll be able to take it. I won't be able. Please don't do it this year, okay? So Austin and Amaya are talking, and they're happy to be in this coupling or whatever. But let me tell y'all something. Amaya is doing a whole lot. And you could tell. But that's her personality, right? I like her bubbly personality. It's growing on me, right? And I just don't think Austin is the best fit. He is so calming and relaxing and chill. And the way he was looking at her, it just doesn't. Austin is so awkward. For him to say that he's this pool guy and he smashed all these women, like Austin is a flat out liar. Okay. And that's part of the reasons I want him to go, because your lies are obvious. Like your lies are too obvious for me. Okay. So I need him to go and let him and Charlie be over there having a drink at the bar or something. But he got to get out of here. Give my girl Amaya a new guy. Because her energy was so high up and everything. She just deserves better than Austin to me. She gonna tell him not to worry about anything, this, that, and the other, and then she grabs his face and gives him a kiss. She's so happy to be in a coupling and have somebody in her bed and don't have to sleep alone at night like Ace had her feeling. Yeah, and I get it. I understand. However, girl, not with Austin, please. Jeremiah and Iris are talking, and she said she couldn't believe that he picked her and felt like he really could have chose Huda. But he went with a more mature option, and she appreciates that. She very much so is interested in him. And he said, listen, I'd rather go home than be with somebody that's toxic. He doesn't want that. And I don't believe Jeremiah when he says he'd rather go home than to be with somebody toxic. You were with somebody toxic and you were dealing, and I feel like you would have continued to deal. In all honesty, like so much so you was snapping at the guys. When the guys was coming at you about it, you wanted to defend your honor for being with this woman. It wasn't until I guess Nick was right. It wasn't until she started calling you out your name and everything, and then now all of a sudden you want to part ways with her. But you was cool at first. I don't believe what he's talking about when he says that. So then you have Huda over there eavesdropping, listening to them. Iris say, let me tell you something right off the gate. You guys are not compatible. That's just what it is. You're gonna have to deal. You're not compatible. So she appreciates him making that decision and says that he is mature for that, and it actually makes her or makes him very attractive, okay, to her. So he's over there like, oh, you making me blush or whatever the case is. And that's when Huda decides to walk in and say, hey, Iris, can I interrupt this conversation? Can I sit where you're sitting? It's too much. So she sits with Jeremiah and she says that, she isn't there to argue and she wishes him the best and she's extremely hurt or whatever because she shared some of the best moments or memories with him in the villa. And she said that she really did care about him so much. She said that nobody wants her to have a conversation with him, but she said she just didn't feel right. It just didn't seem right to just not have a conversation and end things the way that they did. Um After you just called this man a zick because he didn't choose you and stuff, now and you want to have a conversation like you was just turned up a second ago. But I guess that situation of you being on the chopping block humbled you for a little bit for you to go and have a calming conversation with him. I guess. Anywho, Jeremiah is pretty much tired of her because she's like, listen, whether I'm partially to blame or not, both of us have contributed to the toxicity in this house. And it's like, but everybody in the house is only talking about your actions. You're the only one that put fear in people, not Jeremiah. And honestly, I feel like Jeremiah didn't do anything. It was America's decision. I have to keep saying that. And she just flew off the handle because she wasn't getting what she wanted. That's really what it is. When she doesn't get what she wants, she shows her ass. And that's not how that's supposed to go. But I definitely believe that Huda will be growing up on this season. All right. This year, she will learn a lot about herself and she will definitely be growing up. So Huda says, you don't understand. You broke my heart into pieces. And Jeremiah says, listen, all I wanted was conflict resolution. So Iris tells, so this is when Iris leaves, she goes up to see Amaya in the dressing room. And she's like, girl, Huda is down there talking to Jeremiah. She just interrupted our conversation. And Amaya said, I know she's not. After we just saved her, as she's going back to do the same. That's crazy. So they go back to downstairs and Taylor is in there eavesdropping. So when Taylor walks up, he like, what the hell you doing, Huda? Didn't I tell you not to have a conversation with this man? And she tells him like, hold on, relax. Like, give me a second. Like, let me just finish this conversation. Let me just do this and this is it. So Huda says, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, Jeremiah. If this is the last time that we talk, then I wanted you to know that I truly care. Child. Jeremiah says he holds no hate in his heart for her. He says if he does something, it's not to make her jealous. He genuinely wishes her the best. Okay. Huda is finally realizing that it's over. She starts crying and she said that this is something she will no longer pursue. And he tells her he definitely hopes she can find get somebody that can give her what it is that she's looking for. And they hugged it out. Now, did y'all catch how Huda looked at him? Because she really wanted to get that man a kiss. Because that's how she gets over uncomfortableness and being hurt by getting physical. That's what she does. That's always like her go-to, which is to get physical. And that was it. Jeremiah looked at her, then gave her another hug. Like, I'm not gonna kiss you. I'm not gonna fall back into that. And shout out to him for being a bit strong when it came to that, if you ask me. When the girls talk about this in the dressing room, Sierra says, girl, him not choosing her in front of everybody should be enough closure that she needs. She don't really need to talk to that man no more, okay? She needs to come out. She needs to make some different choices. If she don't, I can't guarantee that I'm going to stand behind her ass for the third time. Like, I'm just not finna do it. I support that, okay? Ace over there like, listen, I don't want to hear neither one of y'all y'all names in the same sentence again. Like, I just, like, let it go, okay? Amaya tells Huda, like, girl, I just want you to know out the gate that it was very inappropriate for you to go and talk to him after we just sent somebody else home to save your ass. I said, I know that's right. Y'all better listen. It's about time y'all start telling her to her face what y'all been thinking to in y'all heads and to each other. Okay. So Jeremiah tells Nikki and Huda tells Nick about Huda pulling up, and Nick said, listen, bro, I really don't want to hear it. Like, my capacity is shot. I don't have time for it. And I'm like, okay, come on with the directness. Y'all being very clear. I'm starting to appreciate it. So Amaya says she and Austin get along well. Olandria says it's important to be with somebody that lets you be yourself authentically. And I'm like, yeah, he is, but okay. Olandria tells Shelly that she and Taylor had a good night, and when it comes to kissing, she feels comfortable enough with him. They're no longer strangers, that she could kiss him wherever. And Shelly said, well, listen, I was a bit surprised that Ace kissed me because we never kissed each other outside of a challenge. So when he opened my door and kissed me, I was like, oh. And then we were sitting down over there talking, and he kissed me again. And I was like, oh. Okay, like I like this. But when we get into bed, we did a little cuddling. I was expecting a little more cuddling. I ain't really get all of that, but I need him to get his SHI together when it comes to the cuddling. All right. And I'm like, girl, Ace talking about he got boundaries. So I guess he's slowly warming up to that. The same way he warmed up to that kiss, child. I guess, honey. So, anywho, Sierra and Huda talk. And this was a good conversation that they had because Sierra was laying it on her. And I'm like, girl, Sierra, okay, you up there with Olandria. It's Olandria and then it's Sierra for me. Those are my top two right now. So Sierra tells her that she was conflicted last night and she almost stood behind Jalen. I'm like, be clear. So because she questioned whether Huda can take steps forward to be she says she questions whether Huda can take steps forward to be a better person for herself. And Huda says, it's hard to see Jeremiah with someone else so fast, and it's really, really weird. No, it's hard to see you fall for somebody so damn fast. That's really, really weird. Okay? You done gave this man you and everything, knowing the twists and turns that come with this villa. But anywho, Sierra says that she hates seeing her like this. She's upset and losing control of her emotions, and tells her that she don't need to be begging anybody, because the moment that you start begging a person to see you, value you, be with you, is the moment you start, losing respect for your damn self. I said, I know that's right. I know that's right. So Sierra says, despite what has happened over the past few days, she does see a better path for her. She says, at the end of all of this, I see a better path for you, but you also got to see that for yourself. I can only see so much. You got to see that for yourself, and you got to start walking in that, okay? She says, fuck what he does, fuck what anybody else thinks. Make a decision to move on, and when you do that, make that decision for you, not nobody else. And I said, Sierra, girl, you is winning. You is stepping up on the ladder, girl. So she said she thought about her daughter. This is what Huda saying. She thought about her daughter and asked, why would she do that? I'm like, girl, shut the hell. Stop lying. You asked yourself after you had the first crash out, why would you do that? And then you went on to continue to crash out. I guess you did it some more. Call that man a bitch again. A punk. It's like you did it a little bit more. So anywho, Huda says that she's ready to move on. Sierra tells her that she understands that what happened was just a moment in time. She had a lapse of judgment, but it doesn't have to define or be who she is. So Huda says she's ready to move on, and we're going to see. And the only reason Huda is truly ready to move on now after talking to Sierra is because Jeremiah shut her down again. And when she looked him in his eyes after hugging him and wouldn't let him go and he would not kiss her, that was another rejection for her. That's the reason she's ready to move on. But if that man would have kissed her, they'll be right back in this cycle. So Sierra tells her that there was a version of Huda before him. There's going to be a version of Huda after him, and it's going to be a better one. Okay? And I'm going to be here to be by your side to help you through it gracefully. I said, ooh, Sierra, that is how you do that. That is grown woman stuff. Okay? That is, yes, I love that. So Sierra, you up there, girl. You up there. The people is liking Sierra, and Sierra bombshelled her way into this villa. Girl, we likes to see it a little piece. So Jeremiah and Iris, they're over there talking. He feels at peace and he's happy to be with her, okay? I didn't care nothing about Austin and Shelly talking because they talking about her and Ace all over again. Y'all need to really just cut their mics when they chat, or just cut their scenes, because we don't care anymore. Pepe over there lying to Hannah, talking about, say, it may be a million and million of things that you may dislike about me and I dislike about you. And Hannah's like, damn, if it's millions of things that you may dislike, then you might need to move on. I said, I know that's fucking right, because all I'm hearing is toxic. The fact that it may be millions of things that y'all don't like about each other, but you're going to continue to stay in the relationship and continue to quote unquote try. At what point do you give the fuck up? Because it's giving toxicity to me. I do not like Pepe, y'all. I don't know what it is, but his vibe, I just think he's a liar. I do. I can't stand him and Hannah together. I actually would prefer for both of them to be to leave. Okay. I guess I'll keep Pepe a little longer, but if it had to be another girl to leave, I would like for that girl to be Hannah, and I would like for that guy to be Austin. But Pepe, you definitely need to get your ass out too. It's those three that I'm cool on for me. Let's keep going. So Hannah, so he's saying that, yeah. So Hannah says living with somebody can make you break a relation, can make or break a relationship as well. Because she was talking about the air conditioner and all this other stuff. That's where she draw the line at. Anywho, people got text messages. What we learned is that Megan Thee Stallion is giving the girl some hot girl summer swimwear, and she's also going to be showing up to the villa. So she goes up that night and she surprises the ladies in the villa. And everybody's excited. When I tell y'all, Megan looked absolutely beautiful. Body was banging. Like she came in bombshelling for fucking sure. Okay, perfect body. And they typically bring a celeb on there. I thought like every year, I feel like somebody shows up there. I don't know if Cardi did it one time. I can't remember. But did Cardi? I feel like Cardi. I can't remember. But they definitely have brought some. The short answer is they've brought celebrities on before. And I thought this was a super dope way for Megan to do this, especially with her swim line. And everybody is watching Love Island USA. I mean, we get new viewers every day. I slick cringe about it because I'm like, as a person that's been watching it, like, can y'all stop watching? Don't nobody else need to watch it. Leave it alone. Stay with you. If you ain't been on, don't come on. Okay. But anywho, because I do feel like, with more conversation about the show, sometimes fans can break a show, reshape a show, and it just not be how it was. And then they have these extra think pieces, and then they have these critical thoughts and make the production company so problematic. And it's just like it can be too much sometimes. Like, damn, can we just enjoy the show just a little piece? Right. But anywho, so Megan's talking to all the girls. Okay. She's having a conversation. She has been watching the show along with all of us. And it was dope for the girls to hear what Megan had to say about their couplings, about them being on the show and all of that. So I really like that. She says it's so easy to watch people on TV and forget that these people are real human beings. And that is so true. I've said that before when I was talking about some reality stars. I try to, you know, be sensitive sometimes to people or understanding because these are real people living out their lives in front of us. Okay. So that's that. But she says she's gonna be doing a twerk off challenge. She's gonna be hosting a few of those. And she's gonna do like a shakedown, a twerk off, a limbo, and like a bombshell puzzle. But before we get to all of that, I'm trying to see was it anything that she had to say. She just really liked what Shelly said and kind of put old boy in his place as far as Ace. Like, yeah, check him, get him together. She talks, well, y'all, if you've seen it, you've seen it. She pretty much went around the room and told everybody her thoughts about them and their coupling and all of that. All right. What else? So we get to the challenge. And when the challenge comes, round one is the twerk off. When I tell y'all it was so funny because Ace and Huda went against each other, I think Huda did a good job with her twerk off. Ace surprised me with his dance moves. I know he be into dance over on TikTok. I've never seen him dance before, but it was so funny because nobody was expecting Ace to show out the way that he did. And it was so funny. He did great, but she was not twerking. Okay. It was hilarious though. So Ace started cropping on the girl. Like, I was just like, what is going on? It was so funny. Amaya versus Austin. When I tell y'all they both looked a fucking mess, they both looked fools dancing. But Austin did try a bit harder than Amaya did. And Austin says that he wished he had a juicier ass to make it bounce. And I'm like, Austin, baby, the issue wasn't the butt, it was the back. Yeah, it was the way you kept your back arched as you tried to pop as well. I was like, cut it out. Cut it out. Olandria versus Nick. Olandria was popping that. I will be honest and say, as much as I enjoy Olandria doing her thing, I wish she had other moves versus being down there popping. Like, I was expecting her to do a little bit more. Nick was funny. Okay, he tried, and Olandria won. Shelly versus Taylor. She done went all the way up there on Megan, touching, twerking on Megan and stuff. Taylor looked crazy with all of these faces. He tried. It was what it was. They won. Limbo time. Everybody trying to go up under there and do their little limbo, but they trying to be creative and all of this. Olandria said, can y'all focus? Can y'all focus? Can y'all stop doing all these damn tricks and just walk y'all ass under the pole? I said, I know that's right. I know that's right. Because had y'all not been doing all them damn tricks, then maybe the girls would have won that round. Okay? So final round, the ladies win that challenge because they had to put the puzzle piece together of the bombshell. And whoever got it right first, their bombshell was going to come into the building. So the ladies get their bombshell, who it happens to be TJ. I think TJ was like 23, 24 years of age. We don't know who he's interested in, but he came out, you know what I'm saying? Shelly said that man was fine as fuck. Okay? I mean, TJ cute. Fine as fuck. I don't know. Okay? But TJ was cute. Okay. Now, when it came to the ladies, Megan, I'm sorry, when it came to the guys, Megan said, I'm not going to leave you guys empty handed. We got to bring out Andrina. That is y'all new bombshell. And I said, you talk about fine as fuck. That's Andrina. I'm going to be real honest with you. Okay. Andrina, absolutely gorgeous. Body on piss on, beautiful woman. I said, oh, okay. She said Jeremiah, Ace, and Nick are the guys that she is attracted to. Out of those three, who I see her being connected with is Jeremiah. Now, Ace may kind of like her a bit, and she might gravitate towards Ace, actually. She might. Nick, I don't know if I see that happening. I don't know if I see that happening. Oh, she might. But if you ask me, I would rather see Andrina with Jeremiah, and I honestly would not mind seeing TJ with what's her name, Iris. I wouldn't mind seeing TJ with Iris, potentially Amaya. Huda is gonna go for him, but I don't know if Huda is gonna be his type. We never learned who he's interested in. We did see him kiss Iris in the trailer, so I'm hoping he goes for Iris. And should he do that, I hope Andrina goes for Jeremiah in the effort to keep Jeremiah and Huda from each other. I don't think Huda is gonna spaz out any further, but ain't no telling what Huda may start telling Andrina, right? On some hater vibes. She may start saying, like, girl, be careful, girl. Make sure he don't love bomb you, honey. I definitely can see Huda pulling that. I could for sure see Huda pulling a stunt like that. Like, girl, be mindful, because he just might play you like he did me. I feel like, wait on it. When she gets out there looking as good as she wants to look, Pepe starts speaking in Spanish. And the guy said, wait a minute, what you doing, bro? No, we ain't doing all of that. We ain't doing all of that. Nah, you can't be cheating like that. And that really irritated me, because he wanted to hurry up and let her know that he spoke Spanish. And it's like, yeah, just because she speaks Spanish doesn't mean that she want a Spanish zigger. Okay? She may not want you. Why you over there speaking and all this and that? And it's like, calm down, boy. And I hope she's not interested. I hope she don't give Pepe the time of day. You wanted your blonde bombshell, Miss Hannah? Stick with her. Stick with her. Okay, and Hannah, you went from damn crying your eyes out, acting like, girl, you on, I don't know what you thought. Okay, you definitely thought that you was on one of them movies. All right? Sitting up there crying, holding on to this man's photo. Like, you're doing all of this damn crying, and then now you over here like, please don't steal my man. Please don't steal my man. And you so happy to be in this coupling with Pepe. Girl, I can't stand it. But anyway, that's what they got going on. Okay, let me tell y'all, in my personal, and y'all gonna listen, I'm just gonna tell you my thoughts. Andrina is the hottest bombshell to enter this season. And I feel like that's out the girls and the guys. It's like she just, hey, now her attitude may change, and we may be looking at her sideways or whatever the case is, but Miss Ma'am is the finest one to come through. And that's what I'm used to seeing when I see bombshells. For real, for real. Most of them gonna look like that. Gorgeous, all right? Regardless of whether they black, white, whatever, they're gonna be giving body and face. And that's what she's giving. Girl, I said, come on in this villa and shake this shit up, Andrina. And in all honesty, y'all should have sent her sitting there before you sent Iris in there. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. And that also would have been great, because Pepe wouldn't have been able to try and couple up with her at that particular time. Why? Because y'all came in together, so y'all got to choose an islander. You can't choose each other. So I wish they would have sent her in last week and then sent in Iris this week, okay? Because Miss Huda definitely would have lost her shit when America voted to put her. Matter of fact, let us vote again, please. Let us vote again, please, for the bombshell, because I'm putting Andrina with Jeremiah. Okay, the guy's going to be mad, because I'm like, damn, why Jeremiah keep getting connected with everybody? Because it just makes sense, period. And that's his type to a T high key. I don't know why y'all ain't sent Huda type in. But either way, that's just what it is. Y'all leave y'all thoughts and comments down below about this latest episode of Love Island. I'm Jamie, that's me, honey. Don't forget to like the video. Make sure you're commenting, you're subscribing, you're also sharing the video. All right. I think that's it. I don't think it's nothing else to talk about aside from how good Megan Thee Stallion looked. She had a great time. I love that whole challenge that she did. It was freaking hilarious. us. I loved it, loved it, loved it. And this was an entertaining episode. Not much of a fireball like when Huda was going off, but it was still a really, really good episode in my personal. So leave your thoughts and comments down below. Of course, I am Jamie, that's me, and you know that I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Tell him I preach to the choir. Stand with my feet to the fire. Give all the glory to God. Stand in the midst of these haters, I'm silent, nobody can stop me. Just gotta check in my notification, them numbers hit like it's a praxis. Cashed out at the ATM, and the ATL, they done made a gym. I've been kicking doors like the ATF, got them trying to clone me like Agent Smith. Game time, I invaded gym, high elevated, I can face the rim. Putting shots up, I got laser focus, about to take it over, I'm Invader Zim. On a trip to Florida like it's A&M. Who that nigga, man, they say I'm him. Spit the truth, never wasting film, I can